but I know when the time is right. Nami ndizobizwa. Nami ndizobizwa. Themba lami likuwe bawo. Sosundilibale. Nami ndizobizwa. Nami ndizobizwa.
Hello, I greet you all in the presence of love and joy. My name is Eugene Bakwane, aka Cat Peculiar. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in on my first, very first show of the mentorship, as they say. Well, guys, today I'm going to be a little bit short because it's just an introduction. I am introducing this chapter of mentorship, which is how to study. How to study, guys. Actually, why are you supposed to study? Studying, it's something that you must be very interested in. Something that you have to be interested and show love, that you love, you want to know. You want to know this thing. How did it happen, and where is it going, and why? You see, why is it happening? Why is this thing like this, and how does it work, and why is it operating in that way? So, guys, first of all, first thing first, let me tell you this, guys. There's a way of study. When you study, when it comes to method of studying, when you are studying, guys, study method, the method that you're using to study, it doesn't depend on which subject you are studying. And that's the biggest mistake that we do. We always find method for each and every subject that we are studying, and that's not how it works. Studying depends on the stream that you are doing. If you're doing science, they're not giving you physical science, life science, and mathematics, physical science at the same time to study them all together while you don't have a method. So when you're using a method, the very same method that you're using in pure mathematics is the very same method that you should use in physical science. So method of studying, you have to use one method so that you can understand the whole stream. If you want to understand the whole stream, you cannot use different methods, because those things are going to confuse you. Because at the end of the day, you will find yourself using physical science method in mathematics method, using life science method in English method, so on and so on. So, guys, you have to find one type of study method which you'll be using. What do I mean by that? When you are using one method of studying, the very same method, there's a difference between method and strategy and what's those other things? There's a difference between all those things. So first thing first, the main key of studying, when you are studying, you need three things. You need to be disciplined, number one. You need to be dedicated. You need to commit in what you are studying. So you cannot study physical science while busy eating or busy listening to this kind of music, because the very same time when you lose discipline, you will do whatever you want to do during the time of study, of which will kill the focus. You're gonna lose focus on your studies, of which it will lead you to drop back from your commitment, and that's all end up into a fail. So, guys, you need to be focused. You need to be dedicated and be committed. You need to be disciplined. If you tell yourself that at 12 o'clock you begin to study, exactly 12 o'clock you must be on your desk with your books studying. You don't have to postpone. Time for study is not time for dates, it's not time for whatever. You don't have to postpone, and you must make sure that there is nothing that disturbs you when you begin to study. When you are studying, make sure that whatever disturbance that you think it will come your way, you must make sure that you solve it before the time of study begins, guys. You see, so I've got some few points that we're going to look on. We're going to look on, okay, the study method. Yeah, you see the study method, the method when you are choosing or you are creating your study method. A method is not something that someone must give you. It's something that you must create on your own, in which way you think it will help you. A study method, when you are creating a study method, you must consider these things. You must know that when you are creating a study method involves the strategy on how you are going to study, how you are going to set up the table, set up everything for the environment for you to study. So the other thing is the mindset. Make sure that your mindset is very healthy when you begin to study. So the memory color, you must also have a memory color. What is a memory color? A memory color is not a yellow, pink, blue, whatever. A memory color is something that will help you to remember. That's it. That's a memory color. So some people, I remember when I went to this other school and I asked the students what is a memory color, then they told me about the pieces of papers, yellow, pink, blue, red, green, where you write the key points and stuff. Yes, that's part of the memory color, but that's not actually the memory color. It's a type of a memory color. So that's one of the things when you are choosing your type of memory color, you must know which memory color you're using. It's either you're going to use the crypt notes. Crypt notes are actually not meant to cheat in class, but it's actually meant to memorize. The crypt note is one of the memory color. It's actually not a cheating strategy. It's a memory color of which was taken advantage for to cheat in class. A crypt note is a memory color. The pieces of color papers that you write the key points, more especially when it comes to life science, physical science, if you have to know the terms, you must use that one. You see, that's one of the most recommended memory color when you are trying to capture the key points, the terms, the labeling stuffs and everything, blah blah blah. You see, when it comes to ears and stuff, more especially when it comes to ears, you must know what is the eustachian tube. You must know, you must remember that eustachian tube was yellow in color and it defines like this and this and that. So when coming to the environment, the study method, you must consider the environment. If you know that you can't focus where there is loud noise, so you don't have to go there. You are studying in class, but you know that children are making noise every now and then. So what's that? How are you going to solve the problem? How are you going to study? The healthy diet. When it comes to let me look into this. The science stream. When it comes to science stream, it's very, very, very important to have a healthy diet, because you don't need fats, you don't need too much sugar, you don't need too much cold or too much hot type of drinks or food that you eat. You must make sure that your food is warm, it's healthy, everything is good. You see, you must make sure that you don't overload your mind. Your mind must always be healthy. You must make sure that your mind is healthy, and when you are studying, you must have a time check. What do I mean by that? You must know that this chapter, or let me just say this topic, you want to know the year, or you want to know the periodic table, you want to master the periodic table. You just have to make sure that within an hour you must deal with the periodic table. And if you're not done within an hour, don't overload your mind. Take a quick break, drink water, make sure that you've got sufficient water. You see, make sure that you are not tired. Make sure that you're not tired when you are studying, when you are beginning to study. Make sure that there's nothing that's going to disturb you. If you know, even though you take a short break, you must make sure short break is not to continue with other stuffs and do whatever. Take a cup of water, drink, or a glass of water. Just drink. Take a drink. Relax. Listen to cool music. You know, when it comes to music, what is music? Music, something that relieves your body, makes you to feel yourself. So when you are choosing the music, the type of music, whether if you are listening to R&B, you don't have to go deep inside, because you must choose music of which will calm you down, of which will relax your mind. So the thing of studying, okay, let me quickly finish on this one. Food, when you are eating the food, yeah, I've outlined that when you're eating food, you must make sure that food is healthy, not too much fat, not too much sugar. Your food must be just normal. You see, when you are eating, you must eat normal, eat healthy. So music, when it comes to music in the environment, when you're studying in an environment, you don't need it's not a must to study in a silent environment, because the brain needs something continuous. The brain needs something continuous in the background. When you are studying and it's very silent, silence is not continuous, it's not short term, it's not whatever, it's something just that's just there. Actually, it's something that is there which is not there. You see, I don't know how to explain it, guys. So when you are studying in a silent environment, your mind will turn off, because there's nothing continuous. But then if you have a cool music playing very low, not the music that is very addictive, not music that is very taking you out of the study schedule, and you start singing, rapping, and do whatever, like the school where I was schooling in Bushbuck Ridge. I remember it was during exams, unfortunately, something that broke my heart. Like, it was during examinations, and we were writing. I think it was one of the languages. We were writing in class, and suddenly, at the backyard of the school, we had loud music from the car. So students will go like, ish, ish, ish. They're busy writing. They're writing the examination, but then they're busy. Hey, the music is coming up. It's coming up. And at the end of the day, when you finish writing, some of them are not done. Some of them, things goes wrong. So some they wrote the wrongs. They ask, how did I write this thing? When did I write this now? When did I confirm this thing? This is correct. But then you find that you wrote the wrong things because of the music, because of focus, losing the focus in the study and focus into music that you love. That's the problem. That's the one of the most dangerous things. So when you choose music, you must choose music of which it won't drive you out of your study. You see, you must make sure that the music that you listen is something that's just cool, just something just calm your mind and make it to memorize continuously, so that even though you are out there, more especially I recommend jazz. A jazz that doesn't have lyrics, or any R&B or any instrumental song. The song must be instrumental, not too fast, not too slow, just in the middle. So when you are studying with music, the day you want to remember what you were studying about, the moment you remember the song that was playing, your study, everything that you were studying about, it becomes the lyrics of that song. Then you remember your song together with your lyrics. I remember when I was young, I used to sing the essays when I have to write the essays, and I have to do something that has to do with is a little bit related to lyrics. So I used to sing because I love music. I used to sing those essays, those notes, my notes. I was singing them, you know, and that was recommended by one of my my teachers back then, my former teachers in primary school. Then I grew up in it. So guys, okay, let me quickly check something. When you are memorizing, you must memorize using music or something that can play in the background. It is not a must. It's not a must. If you can study in a very silent place, then that's fine for you. But I recommend that you must have an instrumental song as a background to keep your mind continuous, and make sure that your body temperature is not too hot, it's not too cold. That's the health that you must consider when you are studying. So guys, okay, starting point. Did you know that when you are studying, you've got a starting point and an ending point? Did you know that you don't just open your notebook and start studying, or your study guide and start studying? A study guide is not something to read, but it's a guide for you to study. It's a guide for you to study. You use it when you study, not when you're reading. You use it when you study, not when you are revising. You don't use a study guide if you are revising. You don't use a study guide when you're preparing your examinations. You don't use your study guide if you are reading. A study guide, it's a guide for you to study. It's a guide for you to study. Just a guide. It's just outline everything that you need during your study time. It's not a study method, but it's a guide. It's a guide. Something that guides you. Something that the writer, the author of the study guide per subject, he or she wrote the study guide, or they wrote the study guide to guide you in the subject during your study time, of which you are using your study method. You are going to use your study method in order to study the subject, and you are going to use the study guide in order to find guidelines of the subject, because the writer or the author of those study guides of science, economics, whatever you are studying, whatever stream you are doing, they are doing the study guides to guide you. They know that you have a study time. What they know is that you've got a study time, you've got time to study, you have to study this and this and that and that. So they say, okay, Eugene, because at 12 o'clock when you're at home, you are studying. Here's a guide for this subject. Here's a guide. Here are the things that you can use during your study time. It's not something that you have to read, it's not something that you have to memorize, but it's a guide for you to get the guidelines for that subject during your study time. What is it that you must consider when you are studying during your study time? And the activities and stuff of which they are giving us in classes. During class period, they give you one activity and they say, when you go home, go and write this. Why? It's not a homework just to see if you know what you know, but it's a homework for you to consider when you are studying. It's something, homework is very important. Homework is very important than the memorandum and stuff, and the study guidelines of the question papers and stuff, previous question papers. Is very, very much important, because a homework highlights the most important questions that you must consider. Those questions, when you are studying during your study time, those questions you can convert them into a questionnaires. Make them to be questionnaires so that you can ask yourself, what is this? And if you don't know that thing, write it aside. If you don't know the next question, write it aside. When you write it, all those things that you don't know, write them aside, all those questions. Then you take away the questions, you put them aside. Okay, you are done with this. You take the questions that you don't understand, turn them into questionnaires. Ask yourself, okay, what is this? What is this? What do they want? Then you go back, which topic under which chapter of this question is it? Then you open your study guide, then you find what you have to know in that topic. So you see. Moving on, guys, today I'm not going to be long. As I've said, that I'm going to be very, very short. And I think that's all for now, guys. I think that's all for now. Okay, the finishing point. Okay, sorry. Last but not least, because we are still going to continue on the next podcast. Last but not least, the finishing point. When you are finishing, after you've done your questionnaires and stuff, blah 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 blah, you found out, discovered this and that during your study time, make sure that at the finishing point, you've got what you want. You've got all the answers of your questionnaires correctly. If not, hold it, put it on hold for the next study schedule. If you are going to study life science, if you were dealing with life science right now and you didn't finish, but your study time is up, make it make it a dotted line. Don't just cross a dotted line, but a dotted line. You are not done. On the next on the next schedule of life science, remove the dotted line, continue studying. Studying, you have to dig deep inside up until you find the gold. You know, dig until you find the gold. Without the gold, you have to continue digging. You know, but then remember, you don't have to overload your mind. If you are tired before the session ends, take a quick break, drink a glass of water, sit down, chill, listen to music for at least one song. Maybe one song takes up to 7 minutes. That's enough. You don't have to exceed because you end up forgetting that you've got a work to do. So, guys, from me to you, Eugene Dibakwane, aka Cat Peculiar. Thank you very much for watching Focus TV Media. From me to you, I love you guys. Study well. See you next time.